Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 18. And so, one thing I really have to say right off the bat with this episode is that when I was watching it on Crunchyroll, I was seeing a lot of comments, like pretty much saying that it was boring. And honestly, I have to respectfully disagree because honestly, this was one of the most this is one of the honestly funniest and at the same time one of the most uplifting episodes I've seen of My Hero Academia in a while. Like I'm not discounting all the other times, but it's like this episode, it just had such a good vibe, it had a very feel good vibe and feeling to it that it makes you just kind of smile. Honestly, it's one of those that just it gives you such a warm, nice feeling, and I think it was great in that way. Uh, Okay, so with this episode, we've essentially entered into a new arc, the cultural festival. And I will admit, when I first read through this arc in the manga, I didn't think much of it. But having read it recently in preparation for its adaptation into the anime, has made me realize this is honestly one of the most unique arcs in the series. Not only because it's focusing a lot more on the secondary characters, but one thing you'll discover pretty quickly, if you haven't already, is that even when Izuku is focused on, he's not really in the spotlight. And don't get me wrong, he does go through his own development, but in this arc, but it's done in such a way where it doesn't detract from the development of the arc's main character. In this case, as it was kind of established in this episode, the main character of this arc is going to be Jiro. Like Jiro is the one who's going to be getting like a pretty good amount of development in this arc, a very hefty amount of development in this arc as we see that was just built up from this episode alone. And so yeah, in that sense, it's going to be one of those very unique kind of arcs in order to revisit for me, honestly. Um, I also I also have to say, for me personally, this was one of the funniest episodes of My Hero Academia I've seen in a while, or at least in the beginning, with all the students basically basically throwing out wild and crazy ideas of what to do for the cultural festival, and yet all of them so definingly unique to who they are as characters. Which, of course, I have to mention the Maid Cafe by Kaminari and the well, he said boo with a question mark, but let's just be real here. Like when it came to Mineta, he was about to say booty bar, which Mineta, oh my god, bro. Like somehow I should hate you, and to a degree I still do, but it's like when he gets funny, he gets hilarious. When he gets funny, he gets hilarious. And yeah, both suggestions had me like howling from laughter, and there, and like, and though the episode did have its serious moments, it only got funnier and funnier from there. Each moment had its there was each moment where it almost felt like the comedy it kind of built on each moment almost kind of thing. And yeah, it was funny. uh, of course, getting back to Jiro for a minute. When she made her suggestion when we were pretty much in we were in the classroom and everyone was throwing out their whole ideas of what to do for the cultural festival, and when we cut to like Jiro making her suggestion of like the skit or the play or something like of a small skit or a play or something like that, it was clear as day that Jiro was holding back with what she actually wanted to do, and the episode did a really good job on subtly and not so subtly building on those insecurities right up to the point where they finally built where we see class 1A like from just building on a foundation with Todoroki's suggestion of dancing and just having like a pretty much concert, a place for people to have fun, where and it built on that idea with the concert, which is where Jiro was, I guess, more for lack of a better term, put on the spot. And even though she said it was, and it's one of those things where even though Jiro had said that her whole thing of music being only a hobby to her, you can clearly see it is a passion of hers. It is a passion of hers. She just never had the confidence or the motivation in order to pursue it. And even though in order to pursue it as a passion. And even though Jiro is still nervous, the fact that she was so willing in order to go through with basic with it just from all her fellow students backing her, it shows growth that she realizes that this is something that eventually she is going to need to face. She's going to need to face, even if she was pressured a little into doing it. Like it is a matter of character growth for her in the sense where yes, even though she's nervous and she don't know if she can actually if she can overcome her stage fright, so to speak. uh she is still willing to do it because she's still willing to do it because she wants to make her fellow students happy. Because she basically wants to contribute, and she wants to and she doesn't want to let down her fellow class 1A students and whatnot. And she just realized that this is something I pretty much need to do. I wasn't planning on facing these fears so soon, but it is something I need to come to terms with. So yeah, in that sense, it's very nice character development for her there already. Um, and so with this episode, we also get introduced to the two villains of this arc, Gentle and Le Brava, who are basically internet celebrity criminals, in this case, thieves. And when I first read this arc, I thought they were goofy as all hell, and they still are. But one thing I think you're really going to find with these two is that they may not appear to be the most complex villains or have big ambitions like all the other villains up to this point. But I can't deny this also is a part that in itself, the fact that they don't have big ambitions or they don't necessarily have big ambitions or big goals or anything like that, is kind of what makes them so charming in some way. And what is gonna what is gonna make them so intriguing. But even if they weren't, just the fact that La Brava and Gentle are criminals who take advantage of social media in order to commit their crimes, it weirdly gives them their own their own unique flavor, and their own unique flavor of who they are as characters. And in some ways you can kind of tell it is kind of it is weirdly kind of breaking the fourth wall in the sense where, yeah, they pretty much like even though they're doing criminal acts, at the same time they're pretty much just doing what any other YouTuber, any other vlogger, anyone in this modern society has pretty much ever done. Um, and one thing I will say looking back is that one thing really shouldn't have one thing I will admit I kind of jumped the gun on when I read this in the manga is that I thought that Gentle was basically going to be I thought that pretty much just because of that. I misinterpreted the whole scene with the video of Gentle, but like I thought that scene was supposed to be Gentle being being the spy. But it turns out no, it was just kind of his own kind of weird introduction that, yeah, this is a video of Gentle, the thief who's a vlogger too. So yeah, fun in that way. And yeah, also, and we also get more with Eri in this episode, which was both tragic and uplifting in the sense where she's never been given the opportunity to have a normal childhood, and by virtue of that hasn't been able to experience the pleasures and joys of living, to the point where even normal emotions and emotional expressions are foreign to her. But at the same time, she has taken the first step by agreeing to go to the culture festival. And I like how quickly and enthusiastically how Mirio jumped on board with it as well. It really shows that they're pretty much together, like when it comes to pretty much together, like pretty much Mirio and Izuku are the perfect heroic duo together. Like they like we basically say like there's been build up that pretty much Shizuku and Bakugo are gonna become the perfect heroic duo at some point. But honestly, I think Mirio and Izuku are like the perfect heroic duo because they both have like they both have something that the other lacks in order to truly inspire people. So yeah, inspire and save people. So yeah, but with that said, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.